showed up to my parents' lavish anniversary dinner, only to hear, "Sorry, you're not invited, leave." Then they called security and said, "Get this beggar out," so I walked away. Quietly cancelled every payment, party and trip, $62K worth. Minutes later, my phone lit up with 36 missed calls, and someone showed up at my door. Update: the 2nd of April 24th arrived with perfect Seattle weather, a rare sunny spring day, with clear blue skies. I spent extra time getting ready, having my hair and makeup professionally done. The stylist curled my chestnut hair into elegant waves that framed my face. My makeup was subtle but polished, highlighting my green eyes, the only feature my mother had ever complimented. The black Valentino dress fit perfectly, accentuating my figure without being flashy. I paired it with simple diamond studs, and the sapphire pendant my grandmother had left me, the only family member who had ever shown me unconditional love. The gift box with the watches sat on my passenger seat wrapped in silver paper with a blue bow. L'Amour was located in downtown Seattle, occupying the top floor of a historic building with views of Elliott Bay. I valeted my car and walked into the marble lobby, excitement and nervousness battling in my stomach. The elevator attendant nodded respectfully as I stepped in. "Private event for the Morgans," I told him. "Top floor, ma'am," he replied. When I reached the restaurant's entrance, a hostess in a sleek black uniform greeted me. The space behind her was transformed with elegant floral arrangements and soft lighting. I could hear the murmur of conversation and gentle classical music. "Good evening, I'm here for the Morgan anniversary celebration," I said with a smile. She glanced down at her tablet, scrolling through what I assumed was the guest list. Her brow furrowed slightly. "Your name, please." "Mackenzie Morgan, I'm Richard and Elizabeth's daughter." She scrolled again, looking increasingly uncomfortable. "I'm sorry, I don't see your name on our list." My smile faltered. There must be a mistake. "I'm their daughter. I actually paid the deposit for this event." The hostess gave me an apologetic look. "Let me check with the event coordinator." As she stepped away, I caught glimpses of the celebration through the partially open doors. The room was beautifully decorated with white roses and silver accents. I recognized my Uncle Thomas laughing with a glass of champagne. My cousin Rebecca was taking photos near a large anniversary cake. Everyone was dressed elegantly, exactly as I had been told. The hostess returned with a woman in a tailored suit, who introduced herself as the event coordinator. "Miss Morgan, I understand there's some confusion. Your name isn't on our approved guest list." "That's impossible," I insisted, my cheeks beginning to flush with embarrassment. "I'm their daughter. I paid the $18,000 deposit for this event." She nodded uncomfortably. "Yes, we have record of your payment. However, the final guest list was approved by Mr. and Mrs. Morgan personally, and you're not on it." Perhaps there was a miscommunication. People were starting to look our way. I clutched my gift tighter, trying to maintain my composure. "May I speak with my parents, please?" "I'll see if they're available," she replied, disappearing through the doors. I stood in the lobby, acutely aware of being watched by the restaurant staff. Minutes ticked by. I saw more family members arrive. Heather and her husband with their 2 children, all dressed impeccably. She saw me waiting in the lobby, but quickly averted her eyes, hurrying past without acknowledgement. Eric arrived next with his latest girlfriend. He at least had the decency to look embarrassed when he spotted me, mumbling something to his date before they were quickly ushered inside. After 15 excruciating minutes, the doors opened again. Instead of the event coordinator, my parents emerged. My mother looked stunning in a silver gown, her blonde hair perfectly styled. My father was distinguished in his tuxedo, a crystal champagne flute in his hand. "Mackenzie," my mother said, her voice low and irritated. "What are you doing here?" I stared at them in disbelief. "What do you mean? It's your anniversary celebration. I paid for it." My father glanced around, clearly concerned about making a scene. "We appreciate the financial contribution, but this is a family-only event." The words hit me like a physical blow. "I am family. I'm your daughter. You know what we mean." My mother sighed impatiently. "This is for people who are actually involved in our lives. We didn't think you'd actually come. You're always working." I held out the gift box, my hand trembling slightly. "I bought you something special." My mother didn't even look at it. "You can send it later. This isn't a good time." Behind them, I could see curious faces watching me exchange. My Aunt Catherine looked concerned. Heather was whispering to her husband. Eric was studiously avoiding the scene. "I don't understand," I said, my voice breaking slightly. "I paid for this party. How can I not be welcome at it?" My father's expression hardened. He set his champagne glass on a nearby table and gestured to someone behind him. A security guard in a dark suit approached. "Please remove this woman," my father said coldly. "She's disturbing our private event." The security guard looked uncomfortable, but stepped forward. "Ma'am, I'll have to ask you to leave." I couldn't believe what was happening. "Dad, you can't be serious." His next words would burn in my memory forever. "Get this beggar out of here." Beggar. The word echoed in my head, as the security guard gently but firmly took my elbow. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he murmured, clearly embarrassed by the situation. "I need to escort you out." I was too shocked to resist. As I was led toward the elevator, I could feel dozens of eyes on my back. The beautiful gift box was still clutched in my hand. The last thing I saw before the doors closed was my mother returning to the party, already laughing at something someone had said, as if her middle child hadn't just been publicly humiliated and ejected. The elevator ride down was silent. The security guard avoided eye contact. When we reached the lobby, he released my arm. "Your car, ma'am?" he asked quietly. "I can find it myself," I managed to say, my voice barely audible. I walked through the lobby on wobbly legs, aware of the curious glances from the staff and other restaurant patrons. My face burned with humiliation. The valet brought my car without comment, though I could swear I saw pity in his eyes as he handed me the keys. I placed the gift box carefully on the passenger seat, started the engine, and drove away from Lamar, away from the family that had just made it abundantly clear that my only value to them was financial. Now, you can watch the third part by pressing share and more.